Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode, we kick off the Antweight Armageddon tournament and say goodbye to our Antweight class with a tournament to send them off into the sunset. Chronologically, this tournament did take place between Spring Bash Cup and Summer Slamathon, but originally was not going to be uploaded. The tournament will feature lower production quality as it's just meant as a stopgap till we get to the next main tournament, which will be Summer Slamathon, and as such we won't have full bot intros. I'll just give a quick mention of each bot's capabilities at the start of each match. So without any further rambling, let's get into the first matchup. Underway with fight number 1 of Antweight Armageddon here. We have three pretty fun bots. Antface Spinnah is the little black and red one there. It likes to throw itself around a lot. Then we've got the shredded vert of high Octane and a full body spinner called Cockslap, which unfortunately due to some nerfs isn't as good as it once was, because this used to be the most feared bot in the Antweight class by a mile. It was KOing bots left and right. It still hits pretty hard, but just not quite as hard as it used to. A big hit there from High Octane on the Antface Spinnah, sorry. Antface Spinnah is a reference to Ghostface Killer of the Wu-Tang Clan. That's why it's spelt the way it is. Fun fact for you. So we have three teams in this one. Wasted Potential, a team, like we've said before, is often nominated for most destructive. Antface Spinnah is upside down. Self-riots by actually hitting High Octane there. Like I said, it likes to throw itself around a lot. Ooh, Cockslap loses a lot of wheels there. And I think those were the steering hinges that were holding on that side. It can still drive like this, but it's going to lose some speed on its spinning. High Octane having some trouble getting out of the corner. Oh, and a huge hit on the Antface Spinnah, sending it toward that pit. This arena is the same as the Spring Bash Cup arena, but it's just a bit smaller on each side. High Octane was taking some time to get up there. Antface taking some time to get up. He's upside down at the moment, gets flipped the right way up on that hit. Cockslap hits Antface. Ooh, nice hit from High Octane there. They kind of both hit each other. Oh, and Cockslap, as it was spinning up there, the final set of wheels exploded off. That's unfortunate for Cockslap. They're going to be counted out and KO'd. But I don't think anyone's going to get the KO credit there. Oh, Antface having some trouble. Lens. Gonna try and build up some... Ooh, self-rights. Ooh! Oh, oh! Wow! Just barely avoids the pit on that hit. That was very, very close from High Octane. As Antface lands a hit and actually kind of throws itself around more than it hit High Octane. Maybe due to the weight difference, it's having some trouble actually throwing its opponent around. As it bounces around on its face there. Another nice hit. Both bots landing good hits. Antface gonna self-right there. High Octane having some trouble self-righting. Antface was letting it be counted out and almost flips itself upside down. Flipping itself upside down is a problem because it can't turn very well because the steering reaction wheel spins the opposite direction while upside down. Some good hits here from Antface Spinnah. High Octane, I would say, has been in control of most of the match. That's another good hit. Antface manages to self-ride. A nice little hit on the back from High Octane. We got about 20 seconds left here. They're both trying to get in some final hits. Kind of a glancing one there. See, they're both lining up. That was a pretty big hit. Antface probably almost went over there. Another big hit. Oh, and High Octane splits on the wall as it recoils from that hit. That's going to be time. We'll see how the judges saw it. Aggression goes to Antface Spinnah. Control to High Octane. Damage heavily in favor of Antface Spinnah. I think due to High Octane actually being KO'd at the end there. So Antface Spinnah wins by judgment and moves on to the round of 16, while Cockslap and High Octane go into the redemption round. We're underway with fight number 2 here. We have Fork-U, Ant, and Ember. Good little flip from Ember there. A couple good flips from Ember in the early going. Team Pilot Light, definitely going to be looking to do well in this tournament. Ember is a very solid bot. Oh, and a big flip on Ant. Rips the lifter off, I believe. And flips it over. Ant it can't get back up from here. Fork-U actually goes in and lifts Ant back up. That was smart, because otherwise Ember would get the KO credit on Ant. And then they flip Ant back over. Ember attacking Ant. Smartly gets back out of the way before Fork-U. Ooh, almost pits Fork-U. He's going to look to get it, but they throw backwards. That's kind of how their flipper geometry works. So we have Fork-U for the Angry Workers, and Team Caffeine, who haven't competed in a while. I believe their last tournament would have been maybe Featherweight Fury 2018? So it's good to see them back, having a bit of fun with the Besiege Bots competition. Did win Middleweight Mayhem all the way back in 2018 with a Walker. So we'll see if they can do anything here. Oh, they almost get flipped by Ember there. There's a big cluster of them in the corner. Good lift there from Fork-U onto Ember. It's really going to come down to who KOs Ant, because they have to fight each other, and then one of them has to KO Ant to try and get the damage points. That's why they're both kind of leaving Ant for the moment. They need to get control. Oh! Unfortunate camera lag there. The default camera was locked onto Ant's lifter, apparently, which is now outside the arena. There's a nice throw from Ember. And a good lift from Fork-U tips Ant over, and Ant won't be able to get back up. Now Fork-U gets itself in between Ember and Ant. Ember gets a flip on, but oh, they can't quite get at Ant. And they've kind of ignored Ant now. That means Fork-U is likely going to get the damage for KOing Ant. But Ember is doing well, getting a lot of throws in. Ant still spinning, and there, Ant has officially been counted out now. As you can see, it stopped moving. Ember looking to line up for a big throw. Almost throws Fork-U out of the arena there, onto the ramp. Another nice throw overhead there from Ember. But Fork-U will get the KO credit on Ant, which is interesting should this go to a decision, because I think Ember has had more control, generally speaking. This is good from Fork-U. So they hold Ember up against the pit. That was a nice pin. As Ember self-rights, actually flips Fork-U over. A nice flip there. And back. Unfortunately, yeah, we just check in with Ant's lifter. It's still outside the arena. Fork-U gets a nice little lift. There, and not much going on. They're really just jockeying for position at the moment. There's Fork-U getting good lifts here toward the end. A lot of good control from Fork-U toward the end of this one. And there's another. They're just staying under that wedge of Ember. But Ember, ooh, turns away, but outmaneuvered really at the end of this fight. That's going to be time. We'll see how the judges saw it. It's a 24-21 to Fork-U, winning slightly on control and heavily on damage due to that KO on Ant. But good fight between those two control bots. So Fork-U will move on to the round of 16, while Ant and Ember go into the redemption round. Here we go with fight number 3 of Antweight Armageddon. We can kick off some early hits here between the bots. Conflicted gets a nice throw onto Springbok there, was just having some trouble self-riding. Almost goes into the pit. Got a bit lucky not to get hit by Conflicted there, as Pepper lands a big hit onto Conflicted. Conflicted and Springbok have some history from one of the previous Antweight tournaments that was hosted by one of the members of our community, where Springbok knocked out Conflicted, I believe. And they've had a bit of a rivalry ever since, had a lot of ranked matches between the two. And Springbok actually placed, I believe, second? I believe it was runner-up in Spring Bash Cup 2019's Antweight bracket. And then we have, obviously, the Institution of Insanity with Pepper, who've won 2 tournaments before, being Heavyweight Havocs 2018 and 2019. So, and Conflicted did pretty well in that other Antweight tournament. I believe top 16 or top 8. Something like that. But these are 3 teams that have had solid Antweight bots and a lot of success in this weight class. Oh, a huge throw on to Pepper there from Springbok. It looks like they didn't land in the pit, so that's good for them. Conflicted almost bouncing into the pit there. Conflicted's design is pretty interesting. Because those spinners are mounted directly onto the chassis, that means the spinners impart force onto the chassis. Which the spinners like Springbok don't do, as they're separated by a flywheel, which takes the rotational force away from being imparted on the chassis. Pepper, right on the edge of the pit there, off a big hit. But Conflicted has 2 counter-rotating spinners that cancel each other out, so the bot doesn't actually flip around, but it's having a lot of trouble self-riding, just gets back over in time, I believe. No, they seem to have stopped spinning. I'm not sure if they were, it was like a questionable call there and they were waiting to confirm with the judge. But it seems it was allowed to keep going. Pepper getting bounced around there. Springbok. Ooh, big throw again. Pepper has barely avoided the pit like 3 times this fight. That was a great hit from Springbok onto Conflicted. But then Conflicted gets one right back on Springbok. Pepper in an awkward position there. Bouncing around. Near the pit again, but the other 2 are fighting each other. Springbok backs out to try and get some room. Oh, a huge hit sends both bots to opposite corners of the arena. Pepper attacking Springbok now. Pepper's really having trouble due to the low range of its spinner. These are all small spinners, but Pepper's is especially small, as is pretty evident. Ooh, did Springbok go out? No, they didn't quite yet. Oh, and their own spinner kind of dragged them into the pit there after a hit from Conflicted, but that's going to go as a pit KO to Conflicted. Oh, and then Pepper's joining them right in the same pit. That's the end of the fight. Conflicted gets a double pit KO pretty quickly there. So Conflicted's going on to the round of 16, while Pepper and Springbok will be going into the redemption round. And we're underway with the final fight of episode 1 here. We have Molbo, Zander, and Extruder. Extruder like an interesting kind of dustpan wedge clamp thing, and it breaks almost instantly. I was going to point out that that's a problem with Extruder's design, is that those sides are a bit weak, and Zander kind of broke it in half right away. So that's not good for Team Pilot Light. But this was their bot that they were less sure about. They just entered this for a bit of fun, whereas Ember is really their more serious entry. Zander, one of the most dominant bots in the history of the weight class as far as ranked ladder goes. Molbo, a very fun little, kind of almost full body vertical drum design, similar to Axe Backwards in BattleBots, if you're familiar with that bot. Gets a nice little hit there. It seems Extruder has been counted out by the judge, which I believe the KO credit goes to Zander there. And Zander doing a good job just getting underneath Molbo. Unless Molbo can get a bite, there's not a whole lot Molbo can do, as Zander kind of flips itself over there. This is probably going to be a bit of a weird fight. Oh, good hit there from Molbo, though. If they can manage to get behind and hit those sides, they got a decent chance. The Crunch Bunch do tend to be playing with a lot of ping, so they can have trouble with the driving sometimes. But Zander, you know, this is an interesting one, because the Crunch Bunch really haven't done too much in tournaments. They normally show up, have like a little bit of a fun design, but it doesn't usually do too well. And then you've got, on the flip side, the Diddlers, our founding fathers of Besiege bots, who generally do very well, but have only actually managed one tournament win so far. So we'll see if they can try and pick up another one with Zander here. They seem to be using the back. I didn't even realize for a while there. They're using the back as like a dustpan. I think it's working worse than when they go at them with the blades. Maybe they're just trying to avoid having their lifter ripped off to ensure they kind of win the damage category. Now they're deciding to go a bit more back on the offensive and try and... that was a good hit from Molbo through Zander through the air there. This is a pretty tough version of Zander to beat as well. The older versions could have trouble self-riding sometimes, but this one obviously has no issues with it since it's the lifter can fully rotate through the middle of the bot. So it's definitely a much smoother self-ride from Zander with this design. Molbo really just doing a lot of driving over Zander. Bit the floor there, which is a bit weird. I guess just because of the bouncing. It happened to compress and bite the floor a little bit. Zander's pretty much just getting under, but it can't really control Molbo because it can't keep bots on top of it. And even if it could, Molbo would just bite its lifter. So there's not really much Zander can do here. They're doing what they can by just pushing Molbo around and letting them drive over them. Well, they get the occasional lift here and there, but as long as Molbo stays away from the pits... Ooh, there's a big throw. Almost goes out and then almost into the pit. So that's time. I think it's going to go to Zander here. Yeah, Zander got the KO on Extruder. A lot of control, but style and aggression go to Molbo. 25-20 decision for Zander. Zander moves on to the round of 16, while Extruder and Molbo head into the redemption round. And that's it for this episode. Our 4 bots heading into the round of 16 are Antface Spinnah, Fork U, Conflicted 2, and Zander X. The bots dropping into the redemption round are Cockslap, High Octane, Ant VIII, Ember, Pepper, Springbok, Extruder, and Molbo. In the next episode, we will complete the preliminary round. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. If you're interested in joining our community, follow the Discord link in the description. From everyone on the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.